Hello, hello, everyone. We made it. It's, it's Wednesday. We made it to this masterclass. So let me check out a few things. I want to open your faces on my other screen. I want to see who is everyone here today. I'm going to give extra points to everyone who has their cameras on. So let's do it. I don't give out grades, but it would be wonderful to see real faces. So, hello, Yuhas. Hello, Ed Sutton. Hello, Jacqueline. It's so wonderful to see some people that I already know and some new faces. So, now let's start with a quick warm up. Who of you has already been to any of my master classes or workshops? Give me a yes in the chat so I know where we are at, how familiar we are, and how much I have to introduce myself. Yes, Dana, hello, welcome back. Chris, welcome back. And a warm welcome to everyone who is here for the first time today.
Hello, my name is Denny. I'm from Slovakia. I'm first time here.
Hi, Denise. Super, super happy to see you. Welcome.
Okay, thank you very much for welcome.
So let's do another warm up and let's get to know each other a little bit. I actually want to know a bit more about you and where you are at in your business. So I know I have my head here covering the text. I hope it will not be a problem today. So give me in the chat a one if you are already a business owner and actively working on growing your personal brand. You post content, you generate awareness, you generate leads. Give me a two if you're planning to start, maybe this year. And a three if you tried but nothing worked, you give up and you're like, screw it. Instagram, LinkedIn, social media, personal branding does not work anymore. I hope I'll prove you wrong today. And give me a four if you use LinkedIn to find a job and if you're not self employed yet. So we have a ton of twos. Interesting. It will be very, very useful for you. Anyone else? We have 30 people. I see like 7 replies. I will be the annoying kind of host who makes people reply in the chat. So, all right, well, then let's get started with the introduction. I now know a little bit about you. And since we have some new people, I will also introduce myself. So, my name is Angelica. I am a former cancer researcher and now I am a personal brand strategist. So my career took a huge turn. I came to Austria to do a PhD, and at some point I found myself burning out and I felt so unhappy because I was a very creative person. I needed a lot of freedom. I wanted flexible working hours, and well, that's not what you get in science. In science, you work 16 hours, you stay in the lab, you often work for somebody else's name, you have a PI. And then at some point, I realized that this is not how I want to live my life. And even though I was an excellent scientist and I have excellent publications, I decided to quit everything that I've been building for 8 years and just jump into cold water and build another career. And so it just happened along the way that we got a puppy. And I started an Instagram account for that puppy. And we grew really fast. Like now we have 46,000 followers on Instagram. And I was like, maybe I have a talent for social media and marketing. And so I quit. And somehow I found one job in a startup, then in a different startup. And then I started getting private projects, requests. And I was like, okay, maybe I can do it on my own. And so 2 years ago, I founded my company called Content Fudge. It's a content marketing agency for business creators and experts. And we do a ton of personal branding. We build people's brands. We work with founders, speakers, brilliant experts. We build their brands and we help them monetize them. And I'm also a lecturer. So I've been lecturing for the last 3 years at Digital World Academy. Like meta advertising is my favorite subject because I like to get people to get money and earn revenue. And also in January, I started my own group coaching program called Personal Brand University. So these kind of webinars, like I do them 3 times a week, basically. But I still get very nervous when I get to speak in front new people. So I hope you excuse me if I mumble a little bit. And so, yeah, 2 years later, we have 20 plus personal brands launched, 250 plus students taught, a ton of content published, and really a ton of views. So everything that I'm going to give you today is really battle tested from the trenches, not like some theoretical stuff that I learned from somebody. This is what we do for ourselves because we are actively growing my brand with my team, and this is what we also do for our clients. So this is just to show you the caliber of people that we work with. We have former Olympic athletes, keynote speakers, creators, founders, high-performing experts, coaches, and they all have one thing in common. They want to have a visible, strong personal brand, and they have a vision of changing lives or making a positive impact in the world, and that's what we do. We help them by amplifying their voices so they make a world a better place. Now, with this short introduction, let's battle some LinkedIn myths that I know hold a lot of people back, because I think if we don't address these things, it will be hard to accept the information that I give you today. And the information that I give you today is going to be so practical. It's going to give you big picture of everything that's happening and that what you need to have as a business owner, as a personal brand. And then I will give you details in some aspects. Of course, I cannot give you everything. And also to make it clear, I'm not a LinkedIn expert and I don't pretend to be. We do branding. We do strategy, positioning, content creation for our clients. And that obviously also includes LinkedIn. And we had great successes with our clients on LinkedIn. But there are people who only do LinkedIn and they can give you like obviously even more detailed information. But LinkedIn today is going to be presented to you as part of your whole business strategy and your social media strategy. So it's going to be very valuable nevertheless. So, myth number 1, LinkedIn is basically an online CV. And unfortunately, even though LinkedIn has grown to over 1.2 billion users, many people still treat it as a CV. And that's all right. That's how it traditionally was created, for people to find a job or to find talent. But it's not that anymore. LinkedIn is a beautiful platform where you can grow your personal brand, you can grow your audience, and you can find clients. So you should not underestimate it. And a few years ago, LinkedIn introduced this whole new creator interface where people could follow you, you could get analytics from your content. So even though it's still an outdated platform and sometimes it's annoying, like if you try to download the analytics for the full month, does not compare to Meta, like you hardly get any information, but it's getting there. And the potential is enormous because it's still underused. So LinkedIn is also not just for job hunting or recruiting, it's for actual client acquisition. And today I'm going to show you real strategies that we use and real strategies that our clients use. Now, for those who has been on LinkedIn for a while, they will say, hey, LinkedIn is saturated, the reach is dead. Everyone complains about the reach this year. I'm not one of those people because actually I started growing my personal brand on LinkedIn just slightly over a year ago. So I have still a growth and all of my numbers and metrics are increasing. But some clients who came to us this year, they were like, damn, I used to have like 15,000 of impressions to my post, and now I hardly get 1,000. And that's true. The level is down for many, 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 many creators, but that doesn't mean that it's saturated. It actually means, I'll just skip over to the next slide. It actually means that LinkedIn is just more selective about the quality of the content that you put out. But if you put out great content, you can still grow from it. So these are some receipts of my content and my clients' content that brought in followers directly from the posts that we posted. And I gave a very similar webinar in December, and I had this screenshot, and I was like, I was at 2,100 followers, and now I'm at 2,600. Great, so it's growing. If you pay attention to it slowly, but surely you can get there. Many people still think that you need to write corporate sounding or formal content on LinkedIn. That's also not true. Basically, all the smart people who used to post on Instagram have switched to LinkedIn. And also those who got annoyed by the bureaucracies of X also switched to LinkedIn and started growing their accounts there. But those are still regular creators that we all love and know, and they don't sound corporate. They don't write these super long messages, and they don't use complicated words, because LinkedIn is really a creative platform now. And I know some people say, hey, if LinkedIn worked, I would already have clients from it. And I want you also now to very honestly tell me in the chat. Now, just give me a yes if this is what you do. You have active acquisition systems, how you're acquiring clients. Just give me a yes. If it's a no, it's a no. But then it's not surprising that you don't have clients if you're only posting content. You know, if you had active acquisition systems, that would not be a problem. So give me a yes if this is something that you do already, and a no if, yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. But today I'm going to show you what is possible, so you can start with it and can integrate it. Yeah, I love it. Ed, you got clients directly from your content. That's fantastic. I love it for you. Thank you for sharing. So these are already discussed. So for everyone who is just planning to grow their brand, I saw there were a lot of twos. I want you to really, really consider LinkedIn like very, very seriously. And if I were to bias you today and like tell you, hey, this is what you should do, I want you to skip Instagram unless you're a visual brand. Like unless your industry is visual, like maybe you're a photographer or maybe you're a designer. But even as a designer, LinkedIn is a great place, especially for client acquisition. So I would tell you to choose LinkedIn as your primary platform. It really is so powerful. Why? Because people still think of LinkedIn as a networking platform. They think that when they go there, they meet professionals. They meet people who are decision makers. And they just take everything much more seriously there. When they see an expert, a business owner, a keynote speaker there, they take them more seriously, not just as somebody who is like a wannabe influencer, which is this perception that we have of many people on Instagram. When we see somebody sharing content, especially if it's more like a lifestyle content, we will label them negatively as a wannabe lifestyle influencer, but that's not the case on LinkedIn. And it is much easier also to post more thought leadership content on LinkedIn than on Instagram. And if you use it right, it can lead to referrals, collaborations, opportunities, or direct clients like it happened for Ed. So I hope I convinced you with like a small LinkedIn promotional pitch, even though I'm not like an affiliate or anything like connected to LinkedIn. But I want you to have success in your business or in the future business that you're building. And these are the strategies that work right now. So we have 1.5 hours together. Like 2 weeks ago, I had a workshop for 2 hours. Then people told me that was too much. And even though I love to talk, that was too much. So we have 1.5 hours together. But I do plan a Q&A. So I think it will be about an hour of sharing content. I will also share my LinkedIn warm outreach template in the end. I will also tell you how you can build your full personal brands with me. And then we will have a Q&A. So still until the end, if you have any open questions and uncertainties, unclarities about LinkedIn, I hope I will be able to help you out with that. So this is what we are for today. We are going to talk about how to build a credible LinkedIn presence that attracts and converts clients without spending hours on content. Oh, and before we jump in and before you get like consumed by all the information, if you want to connect with me, here are my accounts, and I'm going to share in the chat my links. I will be happy to stay in touch with you because I share such webinars every single week, pretty much. Like I love teaching. So, how do I share it? Wait a second. If Manuel is still here, Manuel is my team member. Maybe he can help me share the links.
Yes.
Can you please share the links to my accounts? Thank you. Okay. I saw there are some questions, so I will address all the questions at the end. So please stay till the Q&A, okay? On the agenda today, we have why you can post but still not get clients. Super important. We'll break many misconceptions. Then we will discuss an account makeover, how to optimize your account into a mini landing page that it basically works like your website. Then we will discuss a client magnet content strategy, what exactly you should post to grow, to nurture, to convert. And at the end, we will talk about the warm outreach tactics, and we will say goodbye to cold outreach because it doesn't work. It can, but it is so painful and so time consuming. And if you get lazy and do it with AI, it will also damage your brand. So I will highly recommend you to use the 2 warm outreach tactics that I'm going to share with you today. So the very simple answer why you can post but still not get clients is because building an audience is not building a business. What that means? You probably have seen a lot of creators, a lot of influencers who post and have a lot of followers, but they are broke because they don't have systems. They don't have anything that collects those people, those followers, and turns them into leads and then turns them into clients. So just growing a following is not enough if you want to grow your revenue. And we are all here. We are not influencers and we are not content creators just for the sake of creating content. We do create content for the sake of our business, of growing our personal brand. But our goal for everyone is revenue. Every business exists to earn money, like with a lot of purpose and vision to make the world a better place, but we need to earn money. And so this is a trade-off that you often have to make. You either focus on building a huge audience and you can go the whole year just producing a ton of content and maximizing for following, or you can trade off the following and focus on the tactics that help your business grow. Sometimes these things don't have to exclude themselves. You can also grow your audience and your business. This is a perfect scenario. Sometimes you need to go slower because when we talk about the outreach strategies today, you will see that these things are so personalized that you can't really do them at scale so much. You can't just mass outreach unless you use AI. And then everyone will recognize it. And then everyone will be like, well, what the hell is this person like? He doesn't even bother writing a real message to me. So you need to understand this. And if you've been focusing on growing your audience and you haven't seen any outcomes in your revenue, this might be the misconception that you had. And that's all because we are fed this beautiful romantic idea that social media will solve all of your problems. If you have a big following, suddenly you will have a lot of clients as well. No, that's not how it works. So how does it work? I'm going to show you a very annoying funnel that every marketer loves to show. But I think for business owners who are not marketers, like if there are marketers among you, you will understand, you'll be like, okay, let's work. But I think this is like the outdated kind of version that doesn't tell us much. So I'm going to skip the annoying funnel and I'm actually going to talk about the personal brand ecosystem. And if any one of you was at my 2 weeks ago's workshop, I had also like this other diagram. I love putting all these thoughts into nice diagrams so you get a very clear, big picture understanding of how these systems work. And so this diagram shows you the 3 levels of a personal brand and how you go from content to revenue. So let's unpack. On top, we have the first layer that generates attention for us. This is where we get traffic to our account, traffic to our website, and just make people aware that we exist. Because until this layer, people don't know we exist. Like they don't care about us. They don't know what's our name. So LinkedIn, Instagram, outbound, long form video on YouTube, short form video, TikTok, Reels, these are the ways that you can generate attention. By the way, ads is also a way to generate attention, but I didn't include it there because we talk about like organic, something that we can do for free. And we need a lot of attention because if we look back at our annoying funnel, the awareness is where we get the most reach. And then as we go from there, the amount of people who goes further and further in our funnel will reduce. So the layer number 1 is extremely important. That's where content plays such a big role. But it does not end there. And so how many of you, but we already asked this question, right? You said you don't have any active sales system. So most of the people, they stay on this layer. They're convinced that they just need to produce content and that will be enough. But there are 2 more layers. Layer number 2, this is nurture. This is where you captured the attention of your ideal customer avatar, so your ICA, and you nurture them into taking the next step. How do you do this? By providing a lot of value, by sharing knowledge for free, by sharing information, by guiding them to your website where they can discover your offers. All of these things are very important for the people to take the decision whether they go to the next step and give you their money, or if they just stay as observers, consumers of your content. And so there is the layer 3, monetize. And for different brands, for different businesses, we will have different ways of monetization, right? This is a very typical coaching, service, consulting monetization strategy where we have a low ticket offer, mid ticket offer, high ticket offer. But for example, if you're a keynote speaker, you will have your speaking offers, maybe additionally some consulting offers. It's different, but this is like a very typical structure. And then for those who don't convert after the nurture, they don't get excluded. They still stay at the second layer until they do convert. And I've had clients who came to me after these kind of workshops, like 2 years later, and said, hey, I remember I was at your Instagram content strategy workshop, and I remembered you make websites. Now I need a new website. Can you make it for me? 2 years. And we are in the time of recession. The trust is a scarce resource. People don't just trust. People are very, very skeptical. And you need to nurture for a long time. So don't expect that you will run, I know, some ads or a quick webinar or something, and then suddenly people will just like put their wallets on the table and say, hey, take my money. That doesn't work like this, and it requires multiple touch points, multiple times convincing, and a lot of value. And so when you think about the layer one, you should think about sharing so much value that people don't have to hire you, because only then they will start feeling like you're somebody who is so generous. They will have such positive associations with you that they will consider to move to the next level and to the next level. So now I want to do one quick interactive exercise. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. And at the same time, I will play some music. And I want you to go through every point on the personal brand ecosystem scorecard and evaluate where are your efforts on the scale from 1 to 10. And then you can calculate the average score. And then you will see what are the items that you need to focus on first, okay? I'm going to turn on some music. And I'm going to give you 30 seconds so you evaluate where you are. 1 second, timer. My end, the music is already playing. Okay, we have 30 seconds. The music is playing. I finally, by the way, figured out how to do music on Zoom. Everyone who is in my group coaching program, Jacqueline, yay. Now we will have music while doing the exercises. I'm happy. Let's go. Let's do self-evaluation. Ideally, I want you to come back to the scorecard, let's say in 6 months, and see what you have done to improve your score. Oh, maybe 30 seconds was too short. Okay, I'll give you another minute. It was so fast. Okay, I'm going to stop the music. Ed, I saw your message. 1 on IG and 0 on everything else. Thank you for your honesty.
Yeah, a lot of knowledge, no action.
Hey, that's a way of procrastination, right? Constantly learning and never executing.
Yeah.
Does anyone? Well, maybe you need some accountability buddies. Does anyone else want to share their score, like overall? What's approximately where you're at? Deniska is also at 1. No, you guys. Okay, I hope that after today you will have at least like a 4 on LinkedIn. Anyone else wants to share? 3-5, Jacqueline, yay. 1, 2. All right. Guys, we have some work to do. Okay, yeah, you definitely need to put all of the upcoming webinars that I'm giving on your radar so that you improve everything step by step. But yeah, and actually speaking of that, if you feel like, hey, I need this all and I understand and I want a thriving personal brand and I want a business, but I don't know where to start. And this is actually a very common situation that many people are in. Even if you are marketers, like I've met a lot of people who have the background or have the business background, but starting their own thing is so overwhelming. So in case you don't know where to start, book a call with me. We can look into what you guys do and how we can help you, like where you need to start. Seriously, no strings attached. 15 minutes, we will chat. You can cry about everything that has been going wrong, and I can give you some advice about where you start, what you need to do. Manuel will share a link in the chat as well, so you can click on it and book right away. So, yeah, exactly. And in case you were wondering, like, what exactly do we do? I already mentioned we do branding, right? But we are the only agency that does branding that gets you direct return on your investment. Because apart from a brand launch, your design, website, we also set up sales systems, just like some of the ones that we're going to talk about today, the outreach or the live launch with advertising. And this is some 3 very different people from very different niches who have gotten extreme results from our work. So for example, Jennifer, she's a wealth manager, but we also developed her keynote brand. And from her first keynote, she brought in 250,000 euros of business. It was incredible. Just one keynote. Like there was a line after she spoke. Like Julian, we just launched his brand 2 months ago, and he launched his first retreat and overbooked it. He planned to take 6 people. He had to expand and hire another coach because there were 12 who booked it. And for example, Katka, she's a face yoga coach. And you see, like we have very different people from very different industries. But when we ran ads for her service, she got a ROAS of 15. And like she was booked out for 3 months. So if you believe that, hey, that's not going to work for me, look at these people. They're completely different. But with the right system, you can get it. Even you. Trust me, with the right brand and with the right system. So it's possible. All right, let's go on. Now you know why you are not getting clients and possibly why you're not posting also. Procrastination. Now let's get some very important things clear. And this is account makeover. Like how do you optimize it so it works like a landing page, basically partially replaces your website. One important question that I get asked a lot is, should I work on my business account or my personal account, right? Because, on LinkedIn, you have your personal profile and you have your business page. And founders' personal accounts outperform company accounts on every single metric. They get higher following, higher engagement, because algorithm just does not push content from the company account. So if you had to choose and if you want to maintain both, focus 95% of your effort on your personal account and 5% of the effort on your company account. That means that if you post some valuable content on your personal account, repost some of it, not one-to-one, not everything, to your company account, and maybe once a month do some posting on your company account as well. That's it. Like otherwise, you don't need to worry about it. It should exist. It should be there. People should see that you're a founder or CEO or CFO or whatever is your role in your business. They should see you associated with that brand. But to grow an audience and acquire clients, you'll do this with your personal account. And this guy is the guy from whom I learned all the LinkedIn tactics. Like everything that I know, basically I learned from him, from SaveWhat company where he's invested, from Creator Accelerator. And he said one very important thing in one of his webinars, that 16 years of building a business. The first one took 10 years to reach 10 million in revenue. The second one took 3. The third one took 1. And he just launched, so this webinar was last year. They've already launched, searchable. And he believes it will be even faster. Why? Because when you build a strong personal brand, you have a reputation as somebody people can rely on, somebody who delivers quality work. The sales cycles get shorter, the leads get cheaper, and the leads stay with you over time, over all these years. And even if you relaunch a business, even if you change into another project, people will follow you, right? Not the business. So this is the real ROI of personal branding, which is long-term, that you cannot really measure, but you can see it in other people who have achieved that. And now this is Yulia. She is an expert in luxury branding, and we were chatting with her. She was giving a keynote at one of the events where my company was doing content creation for. And she came to me and she was like, Angelika, I think it's amazing what you do, this whole thing with personal branding, because I have on my LinkedIn these two links in my featured section. One of them leads to my personal brand website, and another one leads to my agency website. Guess which one, she said, gets all of the, like 95% of the leads? The personal brand website. Everyone will go to the page where they see a person, they see a face, and they know who will they be reaching when they actually write an email with a inquiry. So this is the real ROI of personal branding, and people buy from people. So this is what you should focus on. Now, how do we start with your account? Your account has several very, very important and strategic sections. So let's start from the top. The top is something that people see: your banner, your headshot, and your headline. This is something that people see even if you comment on somebody's posts or when you are suggested as a potential connection, they will see this part. So this top part has to communicate very concisely the real value that you deliver. So it shouldn't say founder of XYZ brand, because especially if your brand is not well known, nobody will care and nobody will understand, well, what do you do really? So your headline and your banner should communicate your value proposition and should clearly state who it is for. So for example, in my case, personal branding for founders, keynote speakers, and entrepreneurs, right? So in your case can be, I don't know, life coaching for new moms. It has to be very, very clear so that people self-qualify or disqualify when they come to your account to decide whether they potentially can work with you. Social proof is extremely important, and social proof should be visible in your headline as well and in your banner. If you have some sort of badges, some sort of awards, some sort of Forbes 30 under 30 included there. There's so much competition out there, right? And we don't live in a vacuum. When people come to your account and if they have a problem and they're searching for a potential solution for their problem, for somebody who can solve that problem, they will take you and compare you to other people who solve the same problem, right? And so if your account does not communicate very, very clearly what it is you do, like what value, what outcome they get from working with you, and it doesn't prove that by providing certain social proof criteria like trust symbols or your results, they will move on to somebody who has that already. So very important at the very top to include those things. Now, also do not underestimate your headshot. It should be professional and it should include your brand colors. It shouldn't be a selfie. You shouldn't be with somebody else there. It should really be you. People should see the whites of your eyes. You should look into the camera. You should smile approachably. Really make it a nice professional picture so that people feel like, maybe I can chat with them. Yeah. So this is the top. The next level is, what is the next step in your sales funnel? Like, how do they get to work with you? And you have three positions where you can communicate this to create something clickable so that they can get from your account directly into your newsletter or onto your website or onto some webinar or download some lead magnet. So you have obviously the contact information, but that's so hidden, nobody really presses that. But if you have a premium account, you can have a visit my website or book an appointment. And I'm very angry actually at LinkedIn because they used to have a link in bio over here, and it was even for free. Now they removed that feature so that you only have, so that you pay to get that custom button, unfortunately. And the next place where you can place the link so that people can directly get into your sales funnel is in the featured section. And the featured section is also very, very strategic place how you convince people to take the next step. So obviously you need the links. So for example, a free masterclass or a newsletter, you want to deplatform your audience. You want to take your audience from the algorithm-dependent platform where you cannot control whether they're going to see your posts or not. And you want to take them in your newsletter, because in the newsletter, even if you write a really bad subject line, you will get around 20% open rate with a really bad subject line. On Instagram, for example, you get on average over all industries, the statistics shows that it's only 9.37% of your followers who will see your content. 9.37, that's like nothing. You have to work real hard to get more people to see it. But if you get them off the algorithm-dependent platform into something where you can just write a very nice subject line and get 50% open rates, and if you have 3,000 of people there, that's 1,500 who actually read whatever you want them to read. That's gold. That's not to be underestimated. And this is, if you remember, the second layer of personal brand ecosystem. This is something that everyone has to have. And then a very nice tool for featured section is pinning your case studies, like social proof, right? You want to support every single claim that you do. So if somebody has objections or doubts, okay, should they do this? Then they will see a case study right next to this, and they're like, okay, if those people trusted them, maybe I should too. And now we come to the about section. About section is something where people think that they should write things like, I'm hardworking and I'm punctual and I'm reliable. Somebody drawing on the screen. How is this even possible? And now this stays. Okay. Please don't draw on the screens. I get panicked because I don't know how to deal with this. So yeah, people describe themselves. They describe their years of expertise, like jobs where they were working before. But the thing is that your about section is not about you. Your about section is a place where you can go deeper into what you claimed over here. So here you provided an outcome that you can get for your ideal customer. And in the about section, you should go deep and describe that outcome. So it is recommended. So this is like a very typical structure of a strong converting about section. Start with the problem. Make it relatable by telling your story. Every time you share your founder story, your origin story, you make people identify themselves in your story, because very likely their present is your past. And so when they see that you are in a certain situation right now and you got some results, they also want to get to that situation. So they will see you as a guide who will take them from their present to your present, right? You will build this bridge. And then you can describe your offers. You can explain your one-liner that is over here in more details. And you have a lot of real estate here, because your about section shouldn't be too long, like nobody will read it. If it's like a novel, but there's also not enough characters for a novel. But keep it as a nice list with very clear explanation. Don't focus on features. Always think in terms of outcomes, vision, values. People connect through the story that you tell them. If you paint them beautiful future that they could have by working with you, they will buy that future. Like they don't care how many hours it takes. They want that fantastic future, right? Beautiful brand and a beautiful website, booking out website, something like this. And always include a call to action. We should actually never let people think on their own because most likely they will take a wrong decision. Just tell them what they should do by including a call to action. And one super important section that is like amazing, like it's a testimonial section directly on your LinkedIn. So I tell you, it's like a website, it's a mini landing page. Everything that you've been claiming and all the posts that you've been making, you can support them by real people with real accounts writing about their work with you and how great it was. So don't be shy, ask for testimonials. This brings so much value to your brand. So selling on LinkedIn, I've mentioned a few very important elements: banner, custom banner, contact info, features section, job section. I didn't show it to you, but when you write that you're like, for example, a founder and CEO of your business, you can also include media there. For example, a portfolio or a lead magnet. So in every single place in your account, a person can click something and suddenly end up on your website or in your newsletter. So this is gold. And 4 most important strategic elements that you should think about after today, like the first thing that you should be changing is banner, headline, including social proof, and adding CTAs to not let people think, to not risk them taking wrong decisions, but telling them exactly what they should do. And as I said, we don't exist in a vacuum. People will compare you to others. So if you want to stand out, if you want to get those clients instead of somebody else with less experience, less track record, getting those, but just with a better account, don't let it happen. It's actually not so hard. Now we're moving to point number 3, client magnet content strategy. Let's go. The first thing that I would recommend everyone who is under 500 connections is to start by sending out connection requests. If you are under 500, maybe you can share in the chat where you are at right now with your connections. Algorithm somehow doesn't take seriously accounts who have less than 500, and you are even somehow limited by the amount of connection requests that you can send. So I would even recommend you getting LinkedIn Premium for a while, because I had a friend who was like, Angelica, help me with my account. But she's just started her account. She had like maybe 40 connections, and we tried to send out a bunch, and then she was blocked. I think she had like 20 that she could send. So start with that. Somebody shared. Not bad, not bad. Jacqueline. Start with that, and then once you get to 500 connections, people will also take it more seriously, because 500 is the maximum that LinkedIn displays. So if it is even 501, it will be like 500 plus, and you will already seem bigger than you might really be. And number of followers and connections is not something that you should be concerned about. It's a vanity metrics after all, but this is human psychology. So if we see somebody with a bigger following, we automatically think that people trust that person. We cannot change it. This is what people think, right? So if you get to 500 plus, at least you will avoid this thing about like people thinking that you are not important now just because not so many people follow you. And this is the LinkedIn content funnel. We already saw one version of this funnel. But now we talk about only content, because basically as a marketer, you could take this funnel and put it into every single slot in that personal brand ecosystem, because in every single slot, you can also form this funnel. And the same applies to organic content. And there are 3 types of content that you should be posting. First type of content is pre-validated content, meaning something that has worked for somebody bigger in your niche or like you or somebody on the same level as you, and that got them traffic. You can see if it was successful by the number of likes or number of shares or number of comments. And it should be typically like 4 times more than the normal amount of likes or comments that they get. And this literally is the strategy that we use with our clients. We have a list of all of the competitors or complementary accounts or even accounts in different niches, because you can take a content format and you can change it for your own topic. But LinkedIn really loves formats. And so if you see a winning format, which is like an outlier among all the other posts because it performed so much better, at least 4 times better, you can take it because it was already pre-validated, and you put your information on top of it. And I tell you, I cannot express how crazy this is, but it works, I would say, like 30% of the time. When we take a viral format, we sometimes even keep the hook or we slightly change it to fit the topic, and it blows up. Really. Things that don't blow up are AI-generated content. Something that you are being super lazy and you go to ChatGPT or maybe even Claude now, because we are also advanced, and you say, Claude, write me a post about why personal branding is important for, I don't know, founders to find investors. And then it will write you something. It will be this very typical AI structure. And I even was dissecting that structure, this typical AI structure with Claude. I was like, why every post is exactly the same way? And he said, like, this is a typical copywriting structure. And the problem is that it's so typical that everyone else who writes with AI gets it. So you can in instant recognize AI written content, because it will usually start with, most founders do this wrong. Like, for example, most founders look for clients wrong, or most founders post wrong content. As soon now, after today, if you haven't been noticing that yet, when you go to LinkedIn and you will start reading somebody's post that starts with most XYZ, like whatever target audience does this wrong, you will be like, ooh, I'm not even reading, because it's lazy. You should care about the information and the value that you deliver to your audience. You should not spam, because posting AI content is like spamming. You don't want to be spammed, so don't spam your audience, like, because they're not going to read anymore. You will train them to ignore you. But it is a very easy way to do pre-validated content. And if you're wondering, okay, what is the best way to find it? So you can create like an Excel sheet where you write all of your competitors or relevant accounts, and you can go to their profile once a week and like mark anything that worked for them. Or you can use a tool called Say What. I'm going to drop the name. Yeah, Isabella, it's not X, it's Y. Oh, kill me. If I see this negation, my eyes roll so deep, I feel like they're going to come out of my brain the other way. I cannot stand this, really. So I wanted to write you, Say What is a tool I use, and we use it for our clients as well. It's new. I think they launched like last year, and they have a really beautiful tab where they have an inspiration tab, and you can filter for a keyword, for example, personal branding, and you can sort by likes or sort by reposts, and you see everything that's trending, or you see everything that's performing, and you can even like filter, okay, in the last week or last month, so you know what's relevant right now. So this is what we do. So we literally do it like once every 2 weeks, sometimes once a month, depending on the client. And we plan pre-validated content for top of the funnel, because this is really the way to go to attract as much traffic and attention as possible and to grow following. Now, middle of the funnel is something where we nurture, right? It was the same in our personal brand ecosystem, but there we use different channels. Here, we nurture inside LinkedIn. And this is the content that makes us human. So, for example, personal achievements or struggles, showing your vulnerability, showing your failures, showing your behind the scenes. My most successful post last year was, I think, in November, and the hook was successes of 2025 through my failures. And then I outlined 5 big failures, like when a client ghosted me on a huge payment. I outlined it there, and it blew up. And people were, they saw me differently. They saw me as somebody who is not just like, hey, look at me, I'm like perfect. They really resonated. So try that. Coming through your vulnerability is something that AI cannot do, right? Only you know what you're going through. Only you know your struggles. But if you take those struggles and you connect them to valuable lessons, so people can learn from your struggles, so that they don't have to repeat your mistakes, that's why it's so valuable. And basically, here your goal is to build trust, create the connection, and also show your authority as somebody who is in the trenches, who is leading the industry, who is doing a lot, who is not just sitting out there posting like just knowledge, who is actually doing things and sometimes failing. And now we come to bottom of the funnel. And this is the content that many people are afraid to post because they're like, I don't want to sound salesy, or I don't want to sound pushy. I don't want to promote myself. I don't want to seem self-promotional. But guys, we are building a brand to earn money. If we don't promote ourselves, who will? Only we can do this for ourselves so that we get money. So please, please promote yourself. So in my strategy, on my account, every Friday we have a sales post coming out. But that doesn't mean that like, this is what I offer, buy from me. Although this Friday, I literally scheduled a post that says, this is what it would look like if you were to work with me. And I want to inspire you and to show you that it's okay to do this. And maybe that post will get 20% of normal engagement. That's all right. Those who engage, they are the ones, the people who count because they read, they consider. And one day they will take that step. They will take the action to working with you. But yeah, it doesn't just have to be like, hey, this is what I do, work with me. You can also share your methodology, like your process and how it brings results and how it's different and step by step. Or like you can say, okay, this is what people do normally and this is how we do it differently. Or you can share case studies. Case studies can also be very interesting. You can tell a whole story about where a person was and where they are right now after working with you. So don't underestimate it. I had actually quite positive responses on Instagram when I posted one case study. People were sharing and commenting, and people literally came to work with me. They were like, I want like that girl. Build me a brand like that girl, like Jennifer. So don't be afraid to promote yourself. Now, how do you differentiate in the time of AI when everyone is posting so much? And the worst thing is that they're posting that averaged out content that everyone else is posting because everyone is writing with the AI. AI gives like the most popular outcomes unless you're asking for different ones. I think today on Instagram I had a reel where if you comment, you get 10 prompts that I use for content ideations to find content ideas that are novel, non-obvious, counterintuitive, something that not everyone is overusing when they brainstorm with AI. But even then, how do you differentiate? As an expert, speaker, founder, thought leader, you need to develop intellectual property because your IP is what sets you apart. Everyone shares the same frameworks, methodologies, right? But your IP framed a little bit different. It doesn't even have to necessarily be a completely different idea. You don't need to invent it. You just need to reframe it. Give your name and say, hey, this is how I think, this is how I do differently, this is my IP, this is what you get when you work with us. And for example, these are some content, some posts that I posted on LinkedIn. And one of them was, for example, about content worlds. So everyone talks about content pillars. And I was like, okay, let's turn it around. Let's think in content worlds, and let's create a strategy based on content worlds and not content pillars that everyone is using that have become generic already. Or how to create a content system that doesn't get you overwhelmed. And I shared my process and I put my IP on it. Or for example, there are so many different frameworks and exercises how you can find a niche. But I found one that I actively use in my clients, that I use in my group coaching program, and I just slapped my IP on it. And I said, there you go. This is how I think. But this way, my clients recognize me as somebody who thinks forward and not just uses something that everyone else does. Because if everyone is using the same, they will go to the cheaper one, right? But if you have a unique thinking, they will go to you because you can promise different, better, stronger results. And now we've come to the final part. Okay, 15 minutes. Like I promised, an hour of content. I'm happy you're still here. Let's see how many people we lost. Ah, not much. 2 people. Wow. I'm happy you're so interested. All right, let's get to the client acquisition part. Another diagram. I love diagrams. This is called social selling letter. I told you that if you are just stopping on the content level and if you don't have anything else going on, you don't have active sales processes, and then it's painful to find clients. Because basically, if you're just posting content, and let's say you end every post with one clear CTA, right? You tell them to book a call or tell them to engage and raise a hand, show their interest. That's still passive. There is nothing that you're doing to actively capture those people. Yeah. The next level is if you're sharing lead magnets and maybe you have an automations behind, like you have an automated email sequence that does the nurturing. It's not passive, but it's low effort. You set it up once, then you promise that lead magnet every now and again, and people move from your socials, like we deplatform them and bring them into our email list. That's already better. That's the next step. What's the medium effort that also does not require you to get LinkedIn Premium? That's a process called warm outreach. And I don't do any cold outreach, so I'm going to teach you warm outreach. How does it work? This is a process that kind of longer, so you need to have a system, some sort of pipeline where you can track who you're connecting with, who you write first messages, who replied, maybe who booked. And you need to have templates, like what you write to those people. And in the end, like I promised, I will share with you my templates. And basically, how does it happen? You can filter on LinkedIn for your ideal customer avatar with the right keywords. Like you should know their keywords, how you can find them. You filter for them, and then you just connect. And then you don't just connect. You also add a short note. And in my templates, there is a type of note that I add. And basically, you're on their radar. Okay, they connected, they read your short note. You don't sell, you don't promote yourself, you hardly even speak of yourself. You're just like, hey, came across your account through our mutual connections, would be happy to connect. You can add what you post about. Like, for example, I post about personal branding. Maybe if they are interested, they will directly go right away to your account and discover. You don't sell, you don't push, you don't do anything in that connection note. Then, hopefully, they say, hey, happy to connect as well. And then you start a conversation, and then you go to their account, you see maybe there are some questions, maybe there is something interesting in their post that will help you start a conversation. And basically, you sell in chat through building a rapport with those people, you come to the situation where you can say, hey, is there something I can help you with? And you don't do it right away. You need to have some sort of trust, some sort of already conversation, because it's social selling. It's about being human. And yeah, it takes time and it takes patience. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not interested in reading anyone else's content, but I do it because our goal is to grow our business. Otherwise, like, what are we here for? So yes, there are sacrifices that we have to make. There is time that we have to invest, but the payoff is much bigger. Now, if they don't reply to your first connection message, you can follow up, but you don't follow up right away. You follow up like 4 to 7 days later. And then if again they don't reply, actually I would wait another week, maybe do another short follow-up, or maybe let them be, connect, like post and engage with their content, like their posts, comment on their posts, and then later on follow up again. Now, this is something that you can do. You can start right away. There is nothing holding you back. If you are sitting today and you're like, okay, I have optimized my account, I have my brand, I have my website, I have my offers, I don't have clients, there is no excuse not to start doing this today. Because this is what I am using. I hardly even use Sales Navigator, I'm honest. I'm starting now and I use it for some of my clients, but for myself, I feel like warm outreach is the best. And I get consistently at least one client every month, really, just by chatting with them on LinkedIn. And the Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator is the next level. Sales Navigator is a tool from LinkedIn. If you have a premium account, you will see in the top right corner a button. And Sales Navigator is something that allows you to send messages to people that don't follow you, although I wouldn't recommend this. This is cold outreach. But basically, it will allow you to use many more filters than what's available in the normal LinkedIn search. And you can filter for your ICA. You can prioritize warm lists. You can create different lists. And you can engage with them right from there. And basically, the pipeline is already there, right? You don't need your Excel sheet. You already have the pipeline there. So how does the pipeline look like? There are 4 types of lists that we usually focus on. A warm list, so people who already interacted with you or your content. A cold list, so somebody who corresponds to the demographics, psychographics, whatever criteria for your ideal customer. And basically you filter for them and you save them to that list. But you don't send them a cold message. You send them a connection request with a friendly message, and that's where the warm outreach starts. Then you have another list of dream customers, like somebody who you would not be able to get right now, maybe in 5 years. But they are there, and every now and again, you can write them a message, like your VIP targets. And what what we do for some of our keynote speakers is we have like very big conferences and organizers of those conferences, so marketing managers, and they're in that VIP list. And we know that it's kind of unlikely that a new keynote speaker, who doesn't have such a track record would be invited to speak on like a main stage in a huge conference. But we still keep engaged so that we are on the radar of those people so that one day that happens. And then the list number 4 is engagement list. So people with whose content you engage until they notice you. So for example, from the cold list, you have filtered for your ideal client. You send them a message, they didn't react. Okay, how do we get them to react? How do we get them to reply? We move them to the engagement list and we keep liking, commenting until they start maybe engaging with our content. And then, hey, once they engage with our content, they are suddenly warmer. And the warm list is your low-hanging fruit. These are the people who know you, who have engaged with you, who have consumed your content. They know your thinking. Maybe they read a post or two with your IP. And so these are the ones that you can contact and that are very likely to respond positively. So we're going to finish with a few outreach rules that I want you to know. I'm sorry if you're disappointed that there is no magical system that content will just directly bring your clients. But this is the reality. This is not what they sell us on social media. This is how businesses work. We have to take time. We need a system. We need a pipeline. We need templates. We need resources that help us sell. And it requires genuine conversations. We don't pitch off the bat right when we got a new connection. We don't talk about ourselves too early and how amazing we are and what results we get. Just think about it. I'm sure you have gotten some of those messages who were like, hey, I do this, and these are the people I work with. Maybe you want to work with me. Have you ever replied to those people? I don't think so. Like, I archive those conversations right away. But if somebody sends me like a Loom video saying, hey, I just was on your website, I saw this and this mistake, maybe you want to fix it, like no strings attached, a ton of value, no strings attached, then I will feel so thankful to this person that they just took their time. Then even if I don't need their service right now, I will think of them when somebody among my friends or network might need their service. Referrals, don't underestimate them. And then don't sound like AI. People associate AI content with low quality content. As soon as we see something AI, we have this negative feeling inside, like, no. So we damage our brand if we do this. So even if you use AI, use it in a smart way. Use it in a way that it just like brings you to the like 70%, but you get it to the 100. So it is really your work. And focus on the people, not on you, not your career, not your milestones or how beautiful you are. Focus on people, their expertise, add value, ask questions, send a Loom video. I love sending Loom videos. If I see somebody has problems on their LinkedIn account, I'll just send them a Loom video. It takes me like 30 seconds to record and just send them a link. People are so grateful for this. Keep it casual, authentic, really. Like I try to keep it casual, authentic today. I hope you feel like I talk to friends. I imagine that I talk to friends. And don't follow up immediately, right? Because people will feel used. Follow up a bit later. So it feels natural, like, hey, maybe I can help you with this. Like as if it's just like an idea that just occurred to you. All right? Okay. Let's do a quick recap. What we learned today. We looked at where LinkedIn fits in your business. We saw the whole ecosystem that you need to have. We know why it's worth building a personal brand. We saw examples where personal brand brought direct leads and shortened sales cycles. We also saw how to optimize your account so it works like a mini landing page. We learned how to create high engagement content and most importantly, client magnet content. And I showed you 4 simple strategies how to monetize. How many of you are going to be implementing this? Now, give me a yes in the chat. I want to see the commitment. Like, who is just here to learn and who is here to execute? Please give me a yes. I'm going to watch. Because if you do it consistently, you will grow. But if you add systems, all these different methods that I told you about, you will scale. You will be able to hire a VA to help you with the outreach. You will be able to hire some salesperson to help you with a sales navigator, and it will just all go up, but you have to start executing, right? Let me have a look. Barbara, you're very welcome. Dana, please do try. Chris, yes, Jacqueline, let's go. Awesome. So before we go to the Q&A, and I know there are some questions, there were already some questions in the chat. I just want to tell you very quickly, if that's all right with you, what we do at my agency, also where I could help you. So I told you that we build brands, we build personal brands. And more specifically, we do it in 95 days in a way that you sell right away. So our motto is build a personal brand so good that people love you, trust you, and buy from you. And there are two stages how we do it. We have a brand launch stage that happens in 35 days. We start with strategy, positioning, we develop your design, your logo, identity, your website that is optimized for search engine. We optimize your social media and we do all the copywriting. So after 35 days, you might not have anything, but then you come out with a beautiful differentiated brand. And then we build your revenue machine. So you get all that money that you spent on branding back, and that no other branding agency does. But this is our guarantee because we work as your partner, because we are interested in your success. So we build your sales funnels, we set up automations, we do ad campaigns, we do live launches. And we are so confident that it works that we have a confidence guarantee that if you don't make your investment back within those 95 days, we continue managing your ads for other launches that you do until you actually make your money back. Because we are so confident that it works. And that's why we only take a very, very limited amount of clients per month. Like 2 is maximum that we ever take. Because we give 100% of our time to our customers because we need them to succeed. Because this is our guarantee. And that's why we don't have a conveyor belt of brands. We work like partners side by side. We develop the positioning, the strategy, the design that people love, that differentiates you. So if that sounded like something you might consider, or you have questions about, or you have some objections because you might think it doesn't work for you, or you don't have time for you. By the way, even if you don't have time, this is the best offer because we literally implement it for you. Book a strategy call. It's completely no strings attached. And even if you say, that's not for me right now, I will see you in the next masterclass. These are again the people that we worked with. And Gerd Bollmer, for example, just 2 weeks ago, we launched 1 month ago, we launched his brand. He now got his first keynote in an event that has 179 countries in there, with over 9,500 ambassadors in a community of over 200,000 members worldwide. That's crazy, that's huge, just after the launch. And Clemens, we launched his brand 2 years ago. And he just in February told me that he raised his prices from 2,500 when he started to 5,000 this year. And his revenue has been growing 20% every single year. So this is what happens when you have a beautiful brand that really, really tells the story of who you are, what your vision is, how you help people, and if you have the sales systems behind them. These are not jokes. These are not luck. This is everything planned strategically with the system. So if anyone wants to book a call, there is a link in the chat. You can also scan the QR code here. Do it. This is for your future and for your business. All right, now I'm gonna drop in the chat, like I promised, the warm outreach template. There are no dates in the calendar. Have you booked it out? I doubt it, but okay, I will check it. During the Q&A, I will check it, all right? So this is a warm outreach template. Word to word what I sent. I only left like blank spaces for, hey, this is my service, so this is my topic, right? Use it. I send the link in the chat. And now we have the Q&A. So this is the QR code for the strategy call. And for the template, I have dropped it also in the chat. So all the links and QR codes are here. I want to hear your questions, and I'm going to scroll up because I saw questions in the very beginning. I will answer those first, but then if you have any questions, just open your microphones and talk because we are like friends here today. So Isabella said, what if Chris, heart to you. What if I'm a business owner with online courses about baking cakes, cookies, and personalized edible gifts? And on LinkedIn, I have to fulfill all universities and stuff that are completely irrelevant to stuff I'm doing right now. Well, Isabella, is Isabella still here? Just want to make sure. But even if she has left already, she can watch it in the recording. Nothing is irrelevant. Everything from our past made us who we are today. It built this path. It was our journey. So what we believe now, what our values are, everything comes from our journey. Just like I don't forget the fact that I was a scientist, I actually managed to like weave it into my story and how my analytical skills and ads are stronger. So you can always take your past and present it in a way that's still relevant. And people are so interested in your story. Like if somebody maybe went to the same university as you did, and they'll be like, hey, awesome, we have that in common, and you make cakes. There you go. I have a birthday coming up. Maybe you can bake for me. But as a baker, I would still recommend Instagram or maybe TikTok as a primary platform because your baking recipes, processes before, after, you want to do it more visually. People will want to see that process on LinkedIn. People want to learn rather than see cool things, and videos don't work so well. So while I would definitely recommend you to have an account on LinkedIn, I'm not quite sure if this is the primary platform for you. Unless you're a baker who comes up with a lot of new recipes, or maybe talks about using all plant ingredients and like wants to educate the people, the audience about how to do it differently and better. So consider this. Barbara, my dilemma today is how do you build a personal brand while also trying to attract customers for the company you work for? Huh. Barbara, are you still here? Can you elaborate? Do you mean that you are employed in a company and you use LinkedIn to find clients for that company, but at the same time you want to grow your personal brand?
Yes, hi, Angelica. Maybe I can explain a little bit better verbally.
Mhm.
So my dilemma is whether do I promote on LinkedIn my sales skills, what I can achieve, what I did for the clients, or do I actually just bring out the content for the company that I work for?
So you're employed.
Yes, I'm employed.
Do you get anything from that company if you bring them clients?
So I actually work as a head of sales.
Mm-hmm.
So I also need to help my team, to generate revenue, to find buyer personas that fit our ICP and so forth. So I also need to attract customers that would buy our products, right? But do I post on LinkedIn more as an expert role in sales and so forth, or do I actually post about products that the company is selling?
And what is your long-term goal? Do you want to have a personal brand because eventually you do want to become self-employed?
That is like the long game. But
Mm-hmm.
now I need like a let's say short-term vision.
Right. And the long-term vision, is it in the same industry as current?
I mean, I'm in this industry for 7+ years. So for me, it's all important. The industry doesn't matter actually. It's about sales as such, sales as a core, business.
Okay.
So in such doesn't actually matter. It's
Okay.
about like building sales teams, managing sales teams, how to generate revenue from LinkedIn, how to do as you mentioned today, the warm out page and so forth.
Mm-hmm. So, as I understand, even when you become self-employed, which is your long-term
Mhm.
vision, it will still be in sales.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Then 100%, you can start already posting content about sales, about all
Mhm.
these tactics, how to generate clients. But use Sales Navigator for your company.
Okay, okay. I mean, this is what we usually do on a daily basis. Okay, great.
Yeah. And sell in chat. So
Mhm.
definitely build your brand, focus on delivering value. And you can focus on one niche, the niche that is more relevant for your current company, but still
Mhm.
write about sales because this is your topic of passion.
Mhm.
And sell in chat through warm outreach, sell through Sales Navigator. This is like should be the primary strategy. And then it
Mhm.
will allow you to transition over time into your own thing.
Great advice. Thanks a lot.
You're well welcome. So let me see. Are there LinkedIn ads as meta ads? Yes. Or in LinkedIn you rely on organic reach? No. There are ads. Um, they used to be more expensive, but I don't think so anymore. I have clients with whom we run a lot of meta ads, but they show me also results from their LinkedIn ads because they complain and they're like, why doesn't it work? And though I'm not an expert, like I never ran LinkedIn ads at all, I could see comparable CPC, so cost per click, and also CPM. So I think they're quite comparable right now. Maybe one day I will also start running more ads on LinkedIn. But my strategy, and pretty much with everyone who we work with, every single person is on Meta. LinkedIn is professional. This is where people who like care more about career, this is their platform. But everyone is on Meta because everyone watches dog videos, everyone watches children pet shows and videos and all that stuff. So everyone is there. So if you catch a person with your ad, even if they are more active on LinkedIn, they will still sign up for whatever you need them to sign up. So you don't have to do LinkedIn ads, but you can, and they work. Anyone has any more questions? No?
Hi, Angelika.
Hi, Anna.
Yes, I have a question. Basically, I'm building a beauty brand, so is
Mhm.
LinkedIn the right platform or not?
Tell me a bit about the values and the vision of your beauty brand.
Okay, so basically, I'm helping women 40 plus to age gracefully and naturally with a specific technique of the facial massage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in your case, I would also choose Instagram or TikTok, like any other visual platform, as the first platform. Actually, Instagram, right? Or even like Instagram reposting to Facebook because 40 plus is a bit of an audience who is still on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want a reputation of a professional, an
Yep.
expert, you should also have a LinkedIn account. It will just add to your expertise. And there are also women, there are professional women who maybe even need your services even more, because think about professional busy women who are always like stressed and working, and then they need,
Yeah, exactly, right?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, very
So
good. Yeah. Okay.
exactly. So for example, Katka showed that a client of ours, we had beautiful results for her, like really ROAS on ads was 15. So like for every euro she invested, she got 15 back. We ran ads on Meta. So you should have like a beautiful account, because when you run ads on Meta, people will click on your account to see if it's legit, if it's a real business or
Okay.
not.
Yeah.
And post nice videos, atmospheric, like whatever is your brand, maybe it's fun, then post fun videos. But like try to
It's called,
represent.
it's called Sakura Glow.
Can you repeat?
Sakura Glow.
But what is like the character of the brand? Is it more fun? Is it more edgy? Is it more calm and relaxing?
It's more calm and relaxing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So create content on Instagram that transfers that feeling of what it would be like when people come into your studio.
Mhm.
And on LinkedIn, you can take another angle. You can talk about like why women age faster, how can they prevent it, what you do
Okay.
differently. Like sharing this kind of expert content shows that you think beyond just the superficial beauty and you really care about solving those problems for your clients.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you so much for the advice. Appreciate it.
Super. Very happy. Thank you. So, anyone else? I
Uh,
saw,
I have,
yeah,
sorry, I have a question, Antika.
hi.
Uh, yes, hi. I'm doing right now some special activity for the children. Which of the platform do you prefer between TikTok or maybe LinkedIn about the social media? What is the better?
What activity do you do?
I'm doing looks like a school activity and also a small everything is by education. What is
Right.
better by the education? TikTok or maybe LinkedIn or maybe Instagram, maybe
Mm-hmm.
Facebook.
Mm-hmm. So, I would need a bit more information on the type of education, but maybe I can give you a more or less appropriate answer. So, actually, my husband used to have a tutoring company. So, it was also educational.
Yeah.
And we were always trying to figure out whom should we address in our communication, children or parents. And this is like,
Both.
yeah, exactly.
Both. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
parents are the ones who will pay. They have the payment decision. They will make the final decision. But children are the ones who will be like, do I want, do I not want, do I like the vibe? And it's more about the vibe for children. So our strategy was back then Instagram, but I would go for TikTok right now, 100%,
Yeah.
for children. And there we were producing content for children, like memes, funny things about school, making fun of the teachers a little bit, like, but in a cute, cheeky way. And then on LinkedIn, we were posting things about how the education develops, the role of AI in education, how what like how to prevent stress in exams, how to help your children feel more confident for exams. Like confidence was a big thing. Like parents really cared about this, and so we talked to parents on LinkedIn saying, "Hey, this is how you can help your child get better grades." And so we were targeting from both sides on two different platforms. And that's really important because children will not be on LinkedIn. But if you want them to like you, if you want them to feel your vibe, because they need to like you to actually like come to your educational institute, so you should do both. Like I would not just do one, but if I had to choose, I would do the one where parents are, because they are the decision makers in terms of whether they pay or not.
Okay. Thank you very much for the answer.
You're very welcome. So party people, it's already 8:30. I think we're gonna wrap it up. And I hope to see you again, maybe next week. Oh, thank you, Ed, for the applause. Oh, wait a second. There is one last question. Okay, I'm gonna answer one last question before we go. Okay. So, Ed, you asked, how useful is growing communities? Is LinkedIn any good for that? Honestly speaking, I haven't heard anything about communities and groups on LinkedIn lately. Like they were a big thing. Like everyone was talking about them like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But right now, nobody talks about them. So I imagine that everyone forgot about them and that like, they're not important anymore. But Ed,
Okay,
if
thank
you
you.
want to grow a community, you can do school, you can do
School.
circle. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely will do LinkedIn. Thank you for this tonight, and I may be in touch because I think particularly the warm outreach will work. And I have got clients through LinkedIn before, and then I just haven't done anything about it. And it's a great place to get clients for me.
Yeah. What do
But
you
yeah,
do?
school. I do coaching for senior executives and men who are stuck and lost, often because they've got divorced or they've been made redundant or they've had bereavement. So helping them to not just bounce back, but bounce forward in their lives,
Mm,
and hopefully get promotion or even better, get out like I have, and run their own thing. So
love it.
that's what I coach people on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a niche for it, but also community building's good for building my own base of potential clients, and
100%.
raising awareness as
Yeah.
well of some of these issues without it being, this high pressured sales, which particularly for my business is not something I want. I want people to trust me. I want people to know me, and so I think I need to get posting, doing this top of funnel stuff. So thank you for that.
100%. I've seen bad communities, I've seen good communities. I have my own community. If Jacqueline is still here, she's a very active member there. So the thing about community is that people will come to you to follow you if you have gotten the results that they want to get. So you need to get a good brand so they see you as a role model of where they want to get. And then they will come to learn from you. So you can do a mastermind, you can do a membership, you can do some cohort group coaching. All of those things are possible to organize with school or circle or mighty. There are different community platforms. Don't do Facebook groups, don't do LinkedIn groups for those things because those platforms, they're so cheap. Like you can pay 10 years on school, you can post all these videos, like every lesson, every call, you can just upload there. Everything, everyone has it very nicely organized. They can post in there and you own it, right? And you can choose who gets in there, who doesn't get in there. You can make it paid, you can make it free. But to get people into those communities, you need to show them that you have gotten results either yourself or for your clients. So you should really work on your brand and put yourself out there on LinkedIn.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, now we end. I thank you all who stayed until the end. It was intense. I feel it a little bit in my throat, like my voice started to get coarser and coarser. Um, Thank you. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you found it valuable. I hope to see you some on a strategy call with me. That would be fun to talk about your businesses. So have a good night. Have a good evening. I was happy to have you here. I was happy to answer your questions. I was happy to share some value. I appreciate you all, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.